Stepping off the porch stoop. Good morning, guys. Kevin here from 8 o'clock Tomato Talk. I'm excited, of course. It's cold still. It's about 45, 46 degrees. Zone 6B, southern Indiana, right down where the Wabash and Ohio River meet, right around that neck of the woods. Hope you guys are doing great this morning. Spring is here. It's close, at least. As I like to say, it's creeping north. I think it's like in southern Tennessee right now. Check out the flowers. Let me put my hand there. Is that not fantastic? You see that, little yellow ones? Yeah. So yeah, spring's getting really close. It's creeping this way. There's buds popping everywhere. We have a sweet bay magnolia tree that's just starting to show some beautiful pink blossoms here. Can you see those? It's a couple weeks early this year. Anyway, check that out. I'm gonna get to the main deal here soon. Aren't they beautiful? Put together this raised bed. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm excited to finally get to show you guys how I build, I hope a real simple way, these raised beds from this recycled, repurposed deck wood from that deck out yonder there. Into these raised beds. It's actually not wood, it's like that composite, like a Trex material. Lasts a long time. This stuff has got to be very vintage, but the underside of it that wasn't exposed to the weather, that's going to the inside of the raised beds. I'm leaving that weathered side on the outside. Anyway, so I'm gonna say goodbye now, and then you will see me start to talk about how I built these things. Okay, here we go. Putting the bed together. You'll see I have two drills here, guys. One is set up, the red one's set up with an 1/8 inch drill bit. I'll be able to pre-drill all my planks with that. And by the way, all those planks are repurposed decking from down yonder. I have 6 5-foot pieces of plank. They're 5.5 inches or 5.25 inches tall. And I have 6 3-foot deck pieces. So 6 and 6 each of those. Anyway, back to the drills. I have a red drill that I'm pre-drilling with 1/8 inch bit. And I have a yellow drill set up, easy color coding there. Didn't do that on purpose. I just happened to have 2 different brands. Yellow drill is set up with a Phillips head. I'll be driving in 2.5 inch deck screws. Now I'm doing this at high speed now. 2 screws per board. I didn't have any 4x4s. That's why I'm screwing together 2 2x4s. For the sake of this video, I'm going to call these 4x4s from now on. So if you have 4x4s, obviously that'd be a little more straightforward. So 2 screws, 2.5 inch deck screws in each of those 2x4s, holding them together. And yeah, 2.5 inch exterior deck screws. You don't want them rusting out in a few years. So I'm going to line them up. Obviously, I'm just going to do that left side first, but I put both blocks in, 1 block on either side to keep my height nice and square. It's really important, guys, you get these 5-foot planks even, exactly even, like I'm showing right here, with the edge of that block, of that 4x4 block. And I will have edited out what I'm doing here, but I will tell you ahead of time, I'm pre-drilling 2 holes per plank. So there's 6 holes on each side. So I'm drilling them right now, and I'm moving to the other side. That's why I remembered I edited that out. So just so you know, you'll see it a little more clearly here. I didn't edit out quite as much. Had to cut down this video from about 35 minutes to a little over 11 minutes so you guys wouldn't fall asleep. So once again, trying to get my edge nice and square with the edge of that 4x4. And then I'm pre-drilling with the red drill, 2 screw holes. Don't go into the wood any more than you have to. You're only trying to go through the plank itself. Once you hit that 4x4, try to stop. Now I've got 2 2.5 inch deck screws. That's 6 per side, so 12 total on the whole side of the screws. And now I'm going to screw those in, making sure my side is nice and straight. I'm using like how I use the drill as a hammer. I'll use a hammer as a hammer now. So screwing those all in, and just like that, the first side is almost done. I used a miter saw to cut my material, the corner blocks, as well as the 5-foot and 3-foot pieces of plank. It gets a nice square cut. You can use a skill saw, but when you put it together, you may want to use a carpenter square or a T-square to make sure or L-square I call it, to make sure you get a good square build. I'm trusting the cut of my miter saw basically to be sure that I'm getting a nice square cut, square raised bed once I start applying the ends, the 3-foot ends. So here we go with round 2 of the sides, the second side. So I'll lay these 3 out, pre-drill 2 holes per plank. That would be 6 per end or 12 per complete side holes. And then 12 deck screws will be applied. So cost-wise, guys, just so you know, if I were to have bought all this material, I priced it out for a 5x3 at around $50. That includes screws. This does not include the hardware cloth. I think with the hardware cloth, I was looking more at about $55, $57 total to do this build. Fortunately, the majority of the cost, or a good chunk of the cost, I was able to avoid by repurposing that deck wood. So I'm only paying for those blocks, which I got on discount. They were crooked pieces of wood that I got off the back rack at Home Depot, and I'm able to cut those down, and they're just none the worse for the wear. Okay, so now I'm pre-drilling these 3-foot pieces, 6 of those. I think I've got them stacked up so I can make it go quicker. Important note here, guys. When you're pre-drilling, don't go any closer than, say, a ½ an inch from the end of the 3-foot board. You'll miss that 4x4, or you'll just catch the end of it. And you really want to get a solid grab with these deck screws. This is the strength of your raised bed you're creating right here. So I'm kind of kicking it in with my foot there a little bit to make the end pieces square up a little better. Nothing super exact here. We kind of adjust as we go. This first piece is really important, though. I want to make sure it's even on the bottom. If the surface I'm building it on, which mine is not, if it's not very even, mine's not very even, height-wise, you want to get it right with the 5x5 board, and on the corner-wise, you want to get it right too. So you want that 3-foot piece to be right at the outside edge of the 5-foot side there. So you have a perfect corner, because we want this raised bed to be exactly 5 foot by 3 foot. That way our hardware cloth, our 3-foot roll of hardware cloth, fits perfectly on the bottom and covers it up real nicely. So I'm carefully applying my screws, because this first one's crucial. I pre-drilled them already. You'll see I think I have to set it, screw another hole in here, pre-drill another hole, because I got too close to the edge, so I'm going to have a couple boards with a few extra holes. So there's the first one applied. So the second one is obviously going to go a lot better. You can kind of I've got something to stack it on. I'm pretty sure about my height already, so I've kind of sped the film up here pretty good. Now I'm going high speed again. Had plenty of green tea before I started this. And there's pretty much one side. So just like the 5x3 sides I built a little bit ago, there's 2 screw holes per board. So 6 per side, or 6 per end, or 12 total for the whole side. So we've got 48 screws in total for this raised bed build. And that's pretty much one box. So you'll spend a good $6-8 per bed on screws. So now I'll do this other end, and once again, this first board will be crucial. I want to make sure I get my height correct, even with the bottom edge of the 5-foot sides, and also the corner-wise, I want to make sure it lines up just right with the outside edge, so that when I run my hand along it, the cut edge of the 3-footer, my hand just slides right onto the smooth, long edge of the 5x3. I want a nice corner there. So I've zipped through this one pretty good, and the side is pretty much up, and you can see the bed is really taking shape right now. just a little weird footnote. I'm weird like this. I decided to cut my blocks about a half an inch or a third of an inch shorter than the height of the bed. The height of the bed is going to be 15 3/4 because each of these planks is 5 1/4. So 5 1/4 times 3 is 15 1/4. I cut my blocks at about 15, not 15 3/4 like the height, actual height, but about 15 1/4. I just wanted a little indentation there. I don't know, to set my teacup on or a tool or something when I was working, and it probably doesn't make any sense, but hence the flipping it over so that I could use the flat side to attach now my hardware cloth. Not sure where I went here. I'm back, going at double speed. So here's the hardware cloth. You can get this at any big box store. Get this at Home Depot. It's pretty much the same. If you break it down per foot, the same price at any of these places you're going to try to get it. If you can find some at a garage sale or an estate sale or something, great. So it's 3 foot, 1/4 inch hardware cloth. You want small enough so no critter can get in there, not even a baby mouse. So I'm applying this hardware cloth with 1 inch U-nails. You can use any tool you've got. If you've got a power stapler, that'd be awesome. Something that shoots at least a 1/2 inch staple. Line them up carefully so you don't get the pointy, scary tips of those staples protruding through the sides of your deck planks at all. So I've got 3 or 4 on the end now, so I'm going to the other side, stretching it. It's tough to get this stuff really, really flat, but you'll see as I work my way around the back, I'm going to put a couple extra U-nails because it kind of bubbled up on me a little bit. You definitely want to make that a priority that you don't have any gaps because the critters will find a way in there. So I'm adding a couple extra right in here. I think it was trying to bubble up on me. Didn't quite get it stretched out just right. This is a pretty important part though. This adds strength as you're moving the deck around with a couple dozen of these U-nails. You can see I made a little gesture there, and that means I'm going to cut the end now because I'm actually working from a whole roll, I think a 50-foot roll of hardware cloth. Not quite 50 foot, I've already done a couple beds already. I'm using a Sawzall. This is quick and dirty, guys. This is actually in real time. I wanted to slow this down so you can see how quick a Sawzall with a good quality fine-tooth metal blade cuts through the end of this hardware cloth. Just like that. I mean, 5 or 6 seconds. So, of course, I'm going to tap those down. I don't think I show it on film, but those ragged edges that are created with the Sawzall, I don't want any nasty surprises later on when we're reading in the middle of the summer. Get your fingernail or your tip of your finger cut on a piece of jagged hardware cloth. So I'll tap those all down against the bottom board, make sure they're not sticking up. But there we go. It's basic carpentry 101, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm very happy. I'm going to do my happy dance. Thanks.